How important is it to be visible as a leader? This question has really been on my mind lately, and I've been thinking a lot about the concept of invisible leadership. And so what does that mean? For me, invisible leadership is when you're playing a role to support the movement of people towards an ideal, towards a shared vision, but you're not the person that is primarily responsible for achieving it, or at least people don't see you as someone that they depend on in order to achieve that vision. People see themselves equally as part of both shaping and realizing a future shared direction. And so the concept of invisible leadership is when it sort of emerges naturally and when you make that contribution to a group, but in ways that are not in the forefront. Typically when we think about a leader, we think about someone who's standing out front, who's saying this is where we need to go and to have people follow, and this is sort of the idea that we have on who is a leader. And lately I've been working on a series of projects and I realized that my attributes and contributions are very similar, and that my role as a leader and as a someone who contributes to leadership is not necessarily always visible. That there's a lot of things that go on in the background, and in order to make something work, it's not even what you can see tangibly, it's what goes on in your mind, how you think about priorities, how you decide what relationships to focus on, and truly we can't really comprehend all that we need to do in order to achieve what we aspire for, especially when we have a large, grand vision. So invisible leadership is so important. Another thought around it is that if a leader is so visible all the time, then they're bombarded with tons of questions and inquiries and that need to be more responsive. And the challenge is that the more responsive you are, the less visionary you can be, because you just become very reactive and sort of short term. And so it's very important to be agile and to have a longer term view, and sometimes that comes when you retreat. However, if you retreat too much and you're isolated in your small space, then that invisibility, it really has a negative impact because people don't feel your presence. And so that's why I ask, how important is it for a leader to be visible?